What if I told you that Iran and Israel, yes, Iran, used to be best friends? Not just shaking hands in back rooms. I'm talking oil deals, military cooperation, airline routes, joint intelligence. El Al planes landed in Tehran like it was Tel Aviv. Today it's hard to believe. Before the Ayatollahs hijacked Iran, before the chance of death to Israel, there was a time when the Shah and the Israeli Prime Minister toasted glasses. So here are 5 amazing points you need to know about the history between Iran and Israel. Number 1, Israel and Iran were allies. Back in the 50s, after Israel's founding, guess which country stood beside Israel in the Middle East? It was Iran. Iran was one of the first countries in the world to recognize Israel and the second country in the Middle East to do so. At the time, Iran wasn't led by Islamic clerics, but by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who saw Israel as a strategic friend. Iran even had diplomatic representation in Israel for a while, and hear this, all of Israel's prime ministers in the 60s visited Iran, including foreign ministers, Mossad, and Israeli military commanders. They were guests of honor in Iran. Both nations were non-Arab and saw eye to eye in a region filled with political threats. This wasn't just a quiet friendship either. The Shah publicly recognized Israel and called for mutual support against common enemies, especially with the Soviet Union's influence growing in the Middle East back then. Number 2, military ties. Iran and Israel's military cooperation was more intense than most people could imagine today. Iran supplied Israel with oil and allowed Israel to use its airspace for military operations. On the flip side, Israel helped train the Iranian army and shared intelligence to bolster Iran's defenses. This wasn't a small deal. We're talking about Israeli weapons and Iranian resources fueling each other's security agendas. Israel's own Uzi gun that was invented in Israel was sold to Iran and was actually used by the guards of the Shah himself. This was a partnership built on necessity and trust, one that shaped the security dynamics of the Middle East. And hear this crazy part, because right before the end of this friendship, in 1977, Israeli and Iranian defense officials met with the aim to develop a joint missile that could carry nuclear warheads. Just imagine if Iran had that today. The former Israeli chief negotiator between Israel and Iran actually said, and I'm quoting him, "In Iran, we were treated like kings. We did business with them on an incredible scale. Without the ties with Iran, we would not have had the money to develop weapons that are today on the front lines of defense of the state of Israel." Number 3, economic prosperity through cooperation. In the 70s, Iran wasn't an Islamic republic. It was wealthy, thanks to its oil reserves, and Israel benefited from it. Iran supplied oil to Israel through a secret pipeline that bypassed hostile Arab nations. Yes, a covered pipeline that funneled Iranian oil straight to Israel. The Israeli economy flourished with steady oil supply, and Iran profited immensely. This isn't just some forgotten historical fact. This secret oil route was a huge economic lifeline for both countries. Number 4, culture, education, and even tourism connected Israelis and Iranians. Hard to believe, right? But in the 60s and 70s, Iranians and Israelis were not just allies in defense and economy. They were visiting each other's countries too. Israelis traveled to Iran for business, pleasure, and even academic collaborations. El Al, Israel's national airline, ran flights between Tel Aviv and Tehran. And Iranian students studied in Israeli universities while Israelis explored the cultural wonders of Tehran. Imagine that. The youth of Israel and Iran building bridges of friendship and learning together. It's a stark contrast to the hostile relationship today. Number 5, Israel was Iran's gateway to the West. The Shah wanted Iran to be westernized, and Israel was his gateway. Through Israel, Iran gained access to Western technology, medical innovations, and industry know-how. Israeli tech, medical advancements, and agricultural knowledge flowed into Iran, helping Iran modernize rapidly. They worked together to introduce irrigation techniques that are still used today. And Iran even looked to Israel for advancement in medicine. Just think about it. nations, sharing knowledge for growth and prosperity. It's hard to believe that it all vanished after 1979. Today, looking at the intense hostility between Iran and Israel, it's just hard to believe and hard to imagine a time when they were not just partners, but actually close allies. This wasn't just a political friendship, it was an alliance that ran deep in the veins of both societies. It was built on mutual respect, shared threats, and economic lifelines. But all of that disappeared with the Islamic Revolution in 1979, when the Shah was overthrown and the Islamic regime replaced friendship with fear and animosity. History shows us how quickly alliances can shift. The friendship between Israel and Iran is a powerful reminder that in the Middle East, allies today can be enemies tomorrow, and enemies of today can be allies of tomorrow. And sometimes we lose sight of who our friends once were. With all that being said, I really hope as an Israeli Jew that Iran and Israel will once again be allies and establish an even stronger and deeper friendship than before, once this regime is toppled. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content.